Hi, it's Dwyer. It is Thursday, Friday the 3rd, 2022. Let's talk investments, right? I'm not making any investment recommendations for anyone watching this video. I want you to think for yourself. Please do not consider this video to be investment advice. Rather, what I'm doing is just sharing what I'm interested in, what I either have or what I'm pursuing. Right? I want you to think for yourself. Again, do not consider this video to be investment advice. Now, in the last 48 hours, and again, today is Thursday, February the 3rd, 2022, two companies that I own some stock in have released earnings. Now, on my pay site where I talk about crypto, Dwyer70905.substack.com. Again, I'm going to pub it. It's Dwyer70905.substack.com. I've talked about a specific crypto. Now, out of respect for my paid subscribers, I'm not going to name that crypto here. But I talked about a specific crypto that I believe can take advantage of the cloud computing market. Now understand, there is a huge moat around the cloud computing market. Well, let's understand how big it is. Two of the players in cloud computing announced earnings. Again, I own stock in both. The first is Google, right? They happened to announce before Amazon did today. And what I want people to do is to just focus on the part of the earnings report that talks about the incredible growth. Folks, the growth is incredible. Even with all the turbulence going on in the market. Just focus on the growth of their cloud computing business. Right now, you need to realize that in the space, Amazon is ahead of them. Microsoft is ahead of them. Right? But what you'll find out is Google, as it grows, is growing by leaps and bounds in its cloud computing offerings. Well, what I want people to then do is to look at Amazon's numbers. And I want you to look at, again, the part of Amazon's numbers that refer to its cloud computing. Right? Amazon Web Services, folks, is growing by leaps and bounds. To give you an idea, I believe Amazon's number year-over-year growth for cloud computing was up something like 40%. Right? So again, don't consider this to be investment advice. I just want you to look around you. I want you to think about all the video you're streaming. I want you to consider all the companies that have turned to Google and to Amazon to handle delivery of their digital products. Right, folks? The market is huge. Right now, keep in mind, the downside is that the market is centralized. Right? We're talking about three of the biggest companies in the world. Right? Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. If you can find a decentralized crypto that is playing in this market, folks, they don't have to beat these companies to grow by leaps and bounds. right? Just food for thought. What I want people to also do is I want people to look closely at Google and just ask yourself what value the market is giving its Waymo driverless service. Right, folks, you know EVs are coming. You know autonomous driving vehicles are coming. The people in Arizona know they're here already, right? Because Waymo, of course, is running a taxi service. I believe it's in the Phoenix or Tucson area, right? You understand the moat involved with driverless cars, right? People aren't going to hop into any driverless car. They'll need the assurance that comes with a brand name attached, right? Acme autonomous driving vehicles not going to cut it when you're with your kids and you're concerned about safety, even if you're a daredevil motorcycle driver, right? If you see Google on the car, you'll think to yourself, okay, or Alphabet, more accurately, the parent company, Googl. Then as a consumer, you're going to say, well, I've used Google for years. In other areas, if the company is putting its name on this product, then it has to have some level of performance. Well, just understand, as you listen to the valuations of the component parts of Google, and I haven't forgotten, Google's a search engine, right? As you digest the online ad business and all of that, just ask yourself, given the huge potential for autonomous driving vehicles, exactly how much is the market valuing Waymo? Talk to the tech-oriented people around you after you Google and look up Waymo and the number of miles Waymo has driven, right? You understand that Tesla is having some problems with their autonomous driving, right? Google that. You want to look up the competitors. Look up Google. Look up Waymo. If you find that Waymo has huge upside and isn't being reflected in the price of the stock, then wow, that's something to think about. Again, this is not investment advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm in Google. Well, let's talk about Amazon, right? We know Amazon is an elite retailer. Okay, fine. You understand Amazon's cloud computing business has bigger margins, don't you? Now let's talk about electric vehicles. You understand that the way things are trending, depending on what you read, you might learn that electric vehicles are actually cheaper to operate long term than internal combustion engine automobiles, right? Folks, all you have to do is a little bit of research. Ask yourself, well, how much is it for a barrel of oil? Right? Where exactly are gas prices going? If you find out that a barrel of oil costs more than $90 today, if you understand the way inflation works, right? We're hearing now that inflation isn't expected to be transitory, right? Ask yourself, to tackle the current inflation, which, if you use 1970s methodology, would be higher than the inflation of the 1970s. In your head, just ask, well, how much would the Fed and Powell have to hike interest rates to dampen this inflation? Well, folks, you have a historical predicate. Paul Volcker, Ronald Reagan, the early 1980s. Right? Yes, there was less debt. Yes, rate hikes here have more risks. I'll agree with all of that. But you understand that the Fed's going to have to hike interest rates several percentage points, several, to put a dent in the current inflation rate. So you recognize that that's unlikely, right? People have been so acclimated to low interest rates, to a 10-year that's below 2% as I make this video, that they can't imagine the Fed coming in and saying, hey, we're going to hike rates 3% this cycle. Right? You know Powell's not going to come close to hiking rates, or at least it's unlikely he's going to come close to hiking rates like Volcker did. And of course, you understand hiking rates is going to blow up a lot of things. Right? The housing market, that's a leveraged market. You have a lot of millennials who paid above asking price for their homes. Now you can imagine this crowd if the financing costs increase. Now suddenly you're finding out that buying the home is going to cost even more. A lot of people are going to drop out of the market. You're going to have housing prices deflating. What about the stock market? So many companies are buying back their own stock that even Google, a stock I'm into, is spending money buying back its own stock. Right, folks, that's a low interest rate thing. That's not a high interest rate thing. The minute rates go up, these companies are going to say, hey, we don't have the money to buy back our own stock. This isn't a good use of the limited money we have. Well, folks, understand you have a lot of zombie companies right now out there. Zombie companies that can't service their debts. They're having a problem at these low interest rates. You start hiking interest rates, a lot of these companies are going to go under. I got news for you. Pension funds are invested in these companies. If the stock market takes a hit, pension funds, which are already underfunded, are going to take a hit. Folks, you don't have to believe me. Just Google the state of Illinois. Look at their pensions, their public pensions. Just Google the state of Kentucky. Just Google the state of New Jersey. Unfortunately, I could go on and on. So you get that. With inflation, if the Fed starts to hike rates, and you know it's going to be microscopic hikes, right? Oh, we're hiking 0.5%, right? That's supposed to impress some people. Trust me, it's not going to impress anyone who was alive in the early 1980s, right? You see the gray, right? Hiking rates 0.5% here, 0.5% there, that's not going to do anything. For those of us already paying $5 a gallon for gas. Folks, part of the Amazon earnings release was Amazon talking about raising the price of Amazon Prime. Prices are going up, including energy prices. Now, as the price for a gallon of gas goes up, just understand, electric vehicles are going to look much more attractive. Right? You're going to see someone driving an electric vehicle and you're going to think, wow, hey, player, how much did you pay for gas? They're going to correct you and say gas. Then they're going to go further. And they're going to say, well, For energy, I am getting this mileage off the charge. And you're going to realize that you're paying $5, $6, $7 a gallon in a car that historically is older than it used to be. Just look at the used car market right now. Right? If you have a teenager and you thought, hey, Bobby, let's go get you a used car. And you're thinking, hey, I'll just pay a couple $1,000s and get my kid a car and give him the opportunity to drive around like I did when I was a kid. You're going to find out that that couple $1,000s, folks, doesn't go far in this used car market. Don't believe me? Look it up yourself. Go on eBay Motors. Check out the prices. But I can tell you, back in the day, I used to go to car auctions. Wouldn't even need a car. If I was there at the auction and some car was going for, some cheap amount and the rest of the crowd didn't step up, I would buy it. I thought, well, what the hell? I'm paying $2,000. I'm getting a vehicle. Sounds good to me. Right, folks? Now, you go to a car auction, forget it. That's if you're allowed to go to a car auction in this COVID mask era. The reason I'm talking so much about EVs is Amazon's earnings report disclosed that they have increased their ownership of Rivian. Folks, Amazon, the cloud computing juggernaut, the retail juggernaut, the advertising juggernaut, now owns 18% of Rivian. You know what? They also own 5% of Aurora, which is a self-driving car software system. So both Google and Amazon are diversified. And folks, don't focus on PE, right? Because we understand Waymo's not pulling in the bucks yet. It's still in the regulatory phase, where they're trying to convince authorities that it's safe for consumers. Once self-driving cars hit the road, the sky is the limit, don't you? Well, let me say this. I am going to drop the name of a crypto, right? It's not the cloud computing crypto that I've given to paid subscribers, but it is a crypto I want both my free subscribers and my paid subscribers to know about. You know what's the rage right now? It's Web3, right? The next step of the net, which is supposed to be more decentralized. Well, just to understand, we're looking for upside here, right? I don't want to be one of these people who is just focused on the obvious. Solana, Avalanche, the big names, right? Binance Coin, right? No, we want to talk about coins that have upside. Now understand, this coin is for a Web3 blockchain, layer 1, right? Layer 1. Again, it's not in the top 100 in market cap on coinmarketcap.com. You have to look at the next 100. But yet it's among the fastest Web3 blockchains. It's among the cheapest Web3 blockchains. Here's the shocker. It allows for verification and transactional execution without fees. Let me repeat that and contrast it with Ethereum, right? Who knows when Ethereum 2.0, That's right. They've been rebranded. I own some Ethereum, right? Understand Ethereum to me, the delays, the fees, they're troublesome. But I recognize the high ceiling. Same thing with Solana, right? Solana, low fees, but let's face it, Solana has had some problems, has been taken offline, which tells me the coin's too centralized. It recently got hacked. Read up on the Solana wormhole hack, right? But again, I'm an investor. I'm just looking for profit. So I'm in these coins even though I myself realize that there's Bitcoin, my favorite, and then there's everything else. Well, let me just say, again, the crypto I'm talking about allows for verification and transactional execution without fees. Perhaps most importantly, it already has a quickly growing NFT game called Splinterlands, operating on the blockchain, along with a lot of other dApps. But Splinterlands is a star. It's a game you play where you can earn crypto by playing the game. Right? And understand the buy-in's not that high. You can play for free or you could pay $10 and start earning all the crypto. Right? Splinterlands has its own coin. Look it up. But I'm talking about something bigger than Splinterlands. I'm talking about the Web3 blockchain it operates on. In other words, you don't have to rely on Splinterlands by itself to get price appreciation, because Splinterlands is just one of the many dApps on this cheap, fast Web3 blockchain. Here's the kicker, and it's nerve-wracking. A lot of risk is involved. That's the world I live in, right? The name of my sports betting site is Gamblers Advisory. The coin I'm talking about is down more than 70%. I didn't say 7%. It's down more than 70% from its all-time high. Now, if you're into the use cases for the coin, you're thinking, wow, what an opportunity. And within the last 48 hours, I've picked up some. It's called Hive, Hive. And I encourage you to find out more about it at hive.io. Hive.io. I think this coin has a high ceiling, especially since it already has a superstar dApp that's attracting a lot of people to it already on the blockchain. Again, nothing I say here should be construed as investment advice. Let's just say we don't know when Ethereum 2.0 is going to roll out. Let me just say the cryptoverse is moving so fast that when Ethereum 2.0 rolls out and has some groundbreaking features, I believe a lot of us are going to say, been there, done that. Players, since you've been gone, Solana has upped the game in terms of transactions per second. Since you've been gone, on your own blockchain, Layer 2 Polygon has lowered the price for transactions. Right? Since you've been gone, all these other cryptos now have EVM compatibility. They can interact with your blockchain. right? Understand. Ethereum 2.0, and I get that a lot of developers, and you want to follow the developers, are firmly committed to Ethereum 2.0, and I understand there are a lot of pundits out there. Raul Paul, Real Vision. I'm a subscriber, love the service, right? Let's just say I'm more Bitcoin than Ethereum, but Raul Paul is a big believer in Ethereum, right? People are looking at the DeFi space, and they're saying it's going to grow by leaps and bounds, and Ethereum is the big name in the space. All I can say is pay attention to the level 1 competitors in the space. Right? One of them is Hive. I believe Hive has high upside. You need to think for yourself. Don't consider this to be investment advice, but let's just say I'm in it because I like the high ceiling. Let's see where it goes. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. Again, my paid site that allows free memberships where you see videos like this is Dwyer 70905.substack.com. Thanks for stopping by. And let me know your thoughts. People have very strong opinions about cryptocurrency. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section of this video. Let me close with a story. I have an office in Palo Alto, right? And I was up at Old Pros in Palo Alto, college hangout, right? Bartender comes over. This is a Silicon Valley story. I'm there with a sports buddy, Worldwide West, who I think I made a video with a while back. And we're talking sports, and the bartender comes over, and somehow the conversation moves from the 49ers over to crypto. Suddenly, we're talking about transactional speed for Avalanche, right? A little bit more than 4,000 transactions per second, for those who want to know. Solana, right? We're talking about Terra. So we're caught up in the conversation, right? I'm drinking a beer, I'm having a cheesesteak. And then I look up, and of course, I see a bunch of people looking at us, right? Some of them are nodding. If you think crypto is still in a back room, then you don't know what's going on, right? The next time you're at your bar with a friend, start talking about crypto. See what the bartender does. Bartender might know more about crypto than you and your friend do. See what the people around the bar are thinking, right? Crypto is happening right now. Pay close attention to the layers. Pay close attention to the compatibilities, right? Pay close attention to the transaction costs. And of course, pay close attention to the dApps. Splinterlands is growing by leaps and bounds. The platform it's on is Web3 blockchain Hive. You need to know about both entities. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. Again, thanks for stopping by.